Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. In this video I want to show you all of the books I have currently out from the library. So, as you might have seen from the thumbnail, I have quite the stack here. And I don't know if it's just me, but I always end up having too many books out from the library. And I don't know if I can say too many, but too many in the way as in, will I be able to read these before I need to return them? So hopefully I'll be able to renew some of these, so I'll have a bit more time to read them because I'm excited to read all of these. I kind of organized them in order of length, so I'm gonna start with the shortest and work my way through a really chunky one. It's like almost 1,000 pages long. So I really hope I'll be able to renew some of these. Otherwise, I'm not sure I'll be able to get to all of these because I don't read that fast. So the first one is Women Without Men by Sarnush Parsipour. And I became aware of this book when quite randomly I picked up the author's other book, and that was Tuba and the Meaning of Night. And when I researched that book and the author, I realized that this is actually the book the author is most known for internationally. So basically, Sarnush Parsipour is from Iran. She is a producer for TV, but she's also a writer. And when in 1989 she published this book, she was actually jailed and she was actually put into prison because of this. Because in this book she portrays women's sexuality. This book follows 5 different women, like wealthy middle-aged housewife, a prostitute, and a school teacher among the 5. This book is also banned in Iran, and after what happened to the author and the banning of this book, this was actually became like an international sensation, and it was translated in many languages. And this is actually quite a short one, almost not even 150 pages, so I guess it packs quite a punch in such a short number of pages. So I'm quite excited to get to this. The next one is Dreaming of Baghdad by Haifa Zangana. I picked this up because the author is from Iraq, and I believe Iraq is one of the countries which is in the Invisible Cities project, where you have to read books, 3 books each month from different countries, and I think Iraq was one of the countries at some point. So this book is about the author and her experiences, because in the 1970s she protested against the then fledgling Saddam Hussein regime, and she was thrown into prison and tortured. Later she flees the country and lives in exile, and I guess in this book she recounts her experiences in that prison and what happened in her country and to her, and I guess her experiences as someone living far away from their country, and about how that country changes, and even if she returns, she won't never return to the same place because that doesn't exist anymore. This is again a really short one, 160 pages. So I believe, even though it will be a hard one to read, I believe I can get through this quite fast. The next one is one I've heard only good things about, and it says here in the inside flap that this is one of the most important books that came out of South Korea since The Vegetarian. And it is Kim Ji-young, born 1982, by Cho Nam-yo. So basically, this is a book which kind of sparked the feminist revolution in South Korea, because this book is about how misogynistic and gender biased their society is. And I believe it's going to be a fantastic book. It says here in the back, Kim Ji-young is a girl born to a mother whose in-laws wanted a boy. Kim Ji-young is a sister made to share a room while her brother gets one of his own. Kim Ji-young is a daughter whose father blames her when she's harassed late at night. Kim Ji-young is a model employee who gets overlooked for promotion. Kim Ji-young is a wife who gives up her career and independence for a life of domesticity. Kim Ji-young has started acting strangely. Kim Ji-young is depressed. Kim Ji-young is mad. Kim Ji-young is her own woman. And the last part I can't see because of the sticker. Why are these stickers always in the wrong place? But I guess that was enough to give you an insight into what this book is about, and I believe is going to be amazing. The next one is An Artist of the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro. I'm slowly reading all of Kazuo Ishiguro's books. I'm currently reading The Unconsoled, and then I'll have this one and the latest of his novels, and then I would have finished all of his novels. And oh my god, what a ride, what an experience to read through his novels, because they're just so different. And especially now, The Unconsoled, wow, I really don't know what to think about that one, but I have like 100 pages, so I'll finish it. But wow, let's just leave it at that. And this is not the video to talk about that one. But An Artist of the Floating World is basically about, it's set in Japan after the Second World War, and we follow this older artist who should be enjoying his retirement, but he really can't because his thoughts go back to the Second World War and I guess his role in it, or his stance. And I guess there's some uneasy things happened back then, and yeah, making him not enjoy his retirement as he should, or as he thinks he deserves. So I guess this is again is gonna be one typical of Kazuo Ishiguro, a bit of an unsettling one. But I'm excited to see where I stand to this, because now reading The Unconsoled, there's like ups and downs with his books, but that's not because they're bad. It's because I think I just don't get them all, and that's fine. I still believe he's an amazing author everyone should read. And then the next one is The Return, Fathers, Sons, and the Land in Between by Hisham Matar. So I picked this up because the author is from Libya. And Libya is again one of the countries from the Invisible Cities project. And when I researched what books to pick up, I found this one, and I think this is going to be a good one to give me an insight into recent history from Libya. So basically the author and his family, they had to flee Libya because they were part of, I guess an anti-regime group, and they fled. And some years after they fled, they were living in exile. I don't remember where exactly. Morocco, Egypt. Anyway, they were living in exile, and his father was kidnapped while living in exile. And now in 2012, I believe, the author can return to Libya because the regime has fallen, and he wants to find out what happened to his father. So this is kind of autobiographical, and yeah, it's gonna be a hard one to read, but it says here, a triumph of art over tyranny, structurally thrilling, intensely moving. The Return is a treasure for the ages. So I can't wait to get to this as well. The next one I have here is one I'm really hoping I'll get through it, because I DNF the author's previous book. But it is The Death of Vivek Oji by Oweki Emezi. So I picked this up simply because this was everywhere last year, and I just wanted to give it a go. Everyone is highly acclaiming this one, and it was on prize lists and so on and so forth. People are saying this book is a modern classic, basically, everyone should read. I tried to find out really what this book is about, but it's very vague. So as the title says, it's about the death of Vivek Oji, and I guess his life and how he ended up dead. So basically at the beginning of this book, his mother finds his body at her doorstep, and we go from there. As I said, I have DNF the author's previous book, Freshwater, because it was really like magical realism, and I really have a difficult relationship with that genre. On the back here, there's a quote by Kiese Lemon, who wrote one of my favorite books from last year, his memoir, Heavy. And it says here, the death of Vivek Oji is a propulsive, titanic book. Emezi doesn't simply tell stories, they create genres, making new stories, new characters. Feels as forever as thunder, clouds, and betrayal. And then we're down to the last three. And this next one was one I was waiting for such a long time. And it finally came in. I believe I would have bought it, but it suddenly came in. So I'm happy it did, because it's one of those books everyone again was mentioning last year, and it is such a fun age by Kylie Reed. So basically this was on long lists, on prize lists, and everyone was reading it last year. And when you read the premise, you will know why, and you won't need to know more about this. So basically we follow this woman and her nanny. I think it's set in New York, and this white woman has a black nanny basically. The nanny goes to the supermarket later in the evening with the child, and there she gets arrested because people believe that she kidnapped this child, and it goes from there. So I don't really need to know more. I'm excited to get to this. The next one is 1,000 Ships by Natalie Hayes. I picked this up because, again, a lot of people were talking about this, and it says on the cover that this is for fans of Circe by Madeline Miller, and I am a fan of Circe. I really love that book. And it also says here that this is about the women in the Trojan War. I have previously read, I think, Pat Barker's Silence of the Girls, which was supposed to be about women in the Trojan War, but I don't believe that was executed as well. So I believe this is about the same topic, and I believe this is a much better book. I mean, according to people who read it, they say it's much better. I hope it's gonna be just as beautifully written and just as beautiful story as the one from Circe by Madeline Miller. And yeah, I hope I will get to know more about the women and the Trojan War. So I have this one. and then I have this one. Now let me tell you the pages. Yeah. It's 934, and I don't know what to think, because it ends with this, book 8, Brilka. So this is not even the full this is not even the full novel. And it is The Eighth Life by Nino Haratischvili. This is like an epic family saga, which follows women, I don't know how many, 8 women throughout the 20th centuries, from the 1900s and onwards. And it is set in Georgia, the country in Eastern Europe. So I think this is gonna be the family saga and what happened to that family in the context of the period it is set in and the women in that family. I don't know much else about it, but it says here that night Stasia took an oath, swearing to learn the recipe by heart and destroy the paper. And when she was lying in her bed again, recalling the taste with all her senses, she was sure that this secret recipe could heal wounds, avert catastrophes, and bring people happiness. But she was wrong. So the family secret, this recipe, I guess, is at the core of this novel. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, it says The Eighth Life, and it says for Brilka, and at the end, the 8th book is called Brilka. So is this all of it? I don't know if. Well, how can this not be all of it when it's 900 plus pages? But it's been a while since I read a family saga like this, and especially one set in Eastern Europe, and I can't wait to get to it. I also hope that I'll be able to renew this one, because all the other ones are quite manageable in a length. So it's also been quite a while since I read a book which is almost 1,000 pages long. So let's see. Let me know if you've heard of any of these. Let me know if you've heard and read this one, because the cover is also beautiful. But how did it go if you read it? It's so long. I mean, oh my gosh. And the font is not even that big. I mean, it's pretty small font. Anyway, yeah, I think I need to read this lying down or propped up somewhere, because otherwise, I mean, it's gonna be quite a workout as well. I mean, it's good. I'm not complaining, but as you see, these are all the books I have out. As I said again, I'm pretty excited to get to all of these. And I guess this is where I'll leave you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.